No one in the cafe noticed the one-legged girl at first. People rarely did. But when she softly asked, "Can I share this table?" and the single father looked up at her with tired eyes. What he said next didn't just change her life. It shattered the silence of the entire room, and revealed a past neither of them was ready to face. By the time the truth came out, not a single person would leave that cafe the same way they entered. He thought it would be just another quiet afternoon, a coffee, a laptop, and the familiar ache of loneliness. But when the girl sat down across from him, balancing herself carefully, smiling like she wasn't afraid of the world, his hands began to shake. Because he had seen that smile before. On a hospital bed, 15 years ago. The cafe smelled of burnt espresso and rain-soaked coats. Outside, the city moved too fast for anyone to notice a man sitting alone by the window, his shoulders slumped, dark circles under his eyes. His name was Daniel. A single father. Widowed. Tired in ways sleep could never fix. His 8-year-old son was at school, and this was the only hour Daniel allowed himself to breathe before returning to a life built on responsibility and quiet sacrifice. That was when he heard her voice. Soft. Careful. Polite. Excuse me, sir? Can I share this table? Daniel looked up. Standing there was a girl, no older than 12, holding a tray with trembling hands. One leg was missing, replaced by a worn prosthetic that looked too big for her small frame. She tried to stand confidently, but Daniel noticed the strain immediately. People around them avoided eye contact, pretending to be busy. Some glanced at her with pity. Others with discomfort. Daniel swallowed. "Yes," he said gently. "Please. Sit." Her face lit up, not with relief, but with gratitude. She lowered herself into the chair slowly, carefully, like she had learned to do it 1,000 times already. Daniel pushed a napkin holder closer so she wouldn't have to reach far. "My name's Lily," she said with a shy smile. "Daniel," he replied. "Nice to meet you, Lily." There was a silence, not awkward, just heavy. The kind shared by people who carried invisible weight. Lily sipped her hot chocolate, her eyes wandering around the cafe. Then she noticed Daniel's wedding ring still hanging from a chain around his neck. "You're a dad," she said suddenly. Daniel blinked. "How did you know?" She smiled. "You have that look. Like you're tired, but you'd still stand up for someone without thinking." Daniel looked away, his throat tightening. Lily talked, about school, about how she liked drawing clouds because they never looked wrong, about how people sometimes stared at her leg like it was the only thing she was. Daniel listened. Really listened. Something inside him softened, a part that had been frozen since his wife died in a car accident years ago. Then Lily asked the question that stopped his heart. "Did you ever lose someone, and feel like it was your fault?" Daniel froze. Outside, thunder rolled. Daniel's answer was only 3 words long. But when Lily heard them, her smile faded. And the secret she had carried alone for years finally came out. A secret that connected them in a way either of them could escape. "Yes," Daniel whispered. "Every single day." Lily's fingers tightened around her cup. Her eyes filled, but she didn't cry, not yet. Instead, she nodded like she understood too well. "I lost my leg," she said quietly, "because I ran into the road." Daniel's breath caught. "There was a man," she continued. "He pushed me out of the way of a truck. I survived. He didn't." Daniel's coffee slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. The cafe went silent. Lily looked up, confused, then scared, as Daniel dropped to his knees, shaking. He reached into his wallet with trembling fingers and pulled out an old, folded photo. A picture of a man holding a little boy on his shoulders, smiling wide. "That was my brother," Daniel said, tears streaming down his face. "He died saving a little girl, with one leg." Lily's world stopped. The truth unfolded slowly, painfully. The man who saved her was Daniel's younger brother, a firefighter who had promised to meet Daniel that night but never arrived. For years, Daniel had blamed himself for not stopping him, for not being there. Lily had blamed herself for surviving. 2 broken souls. 1 table. Lily cried then, deep, quiet sobs she had held back for years. Daniel wrapped his arms around her, not as a stranger, but as family finally finding its way back together. Weeks passed. Daniel invited Lily and her foster mother to dinner. His son bonded with her instantly, calling her Big Sister on the first day. Daniel helped Lily get a new prosthetic through a charity his brother once supported. Lily began to walk stronger, not because of the leg, but because she was no longer walking alone. On the anniversary of his brother's death, Daniel and Lily stood together by a small memorial. Lily placed a drawing of clouds at the base. "Thank you," she whispered. Daniel smiled through tears. He would be proud of you. And sometimes, when Daniel and his son sat in that same cafe, Lily would join them. Not because she needed a seat, but because family doesn't always start with blood, sometimes it starts with a question. Can I share this table? Life doesn't always heal us by removing our pain. Sometimes, it heals us by connecting our pain to purpose. And when we choose kindness, even in our loneliest moments, we may unknowingly become the answer to someone else's prayers.